Hi, Floss Tube. It's Kara, the Granite State Stitcher. Welcome. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing. I noticed that I have a lot of new subscribers, and I know that Johnnie Saxon shouted me out on his channel. So thank you, Johnnie. You are wonderful. I love Johnnie. If you have not checked him out, please go find him. He is one cool dude. He really is. And so please, if you are new, throw me a hello down below so that I can say hello back to you and welcome you to the channel. Tell me where you're from and give me a little background on yourself. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. So it has been a while. September 1st was my last video. And obviously, work and life events have gotten in the way, but I did want to come back. I don't think this is going to be a very long video, but I just wanted to come back to, let you guys know I was still around. On a somber note, I do want to express my heartfelt prayers and sympathies to the families of the shooting victims in Lewiston, Maine this past week. It's always a senseless tragedy when events like this happen. The questions get asked, could it have been prevented? Were there warning signals? How did the person get guns? It's just horrible no matter how you look at it. And not only for the victims and their families, but also the shooter. His family was the first ones to reach out when his picture was posted. They were the first ones to reach out to law enforcement and identify him and say that, yes, he had mental health issues. He also leaves behind a son, so that poor child has to deal with the fact that his son went on this that his dad went on this shooting spree and killed 18 people. So just, keep everyone in your prayers and your thoughts. I'm a Mainer. I was born and bred in Maine. I live in New Hampshire now, but I'm only 10 minutes from the Maine border, and I still have family and relatives up in Maine. I have cousins and an aunt and uncle that live in Auburn that are right across the river from Lewiston. I was on vacation last week up there. I was up in Rangeley, which is about an hour north. But even up there, they were feeling the effects. Obviously, this was something that was taken very seriously by the whole state. A childhood friend of mine from Rangeley, her son was one of the people who was shot at the sports bar. Fortunately, he was not one of the casualties. But still, getting the phone call that your son has been shot, I know what that's like. My son was shot accidentally at the police academy during training in June. And of course, his was unintentional. It was just an accident. And thank God, it wasn't serious. But this is a totally different aspect. That person went in there intending to kill, to do harm. So that's, knowing that your son survived something like that, I'm sure is very emotional for her and her family. We also have Floss Tubers that have channels, on YouTube that are up in Maine. I know that Missy and Kathy, Two Needles Pulling Thread, I think they're in Bethel, around the Bethel area, which is the western part of the state. I may be wrong. But, there are a couple that are up in the Augusta area. So again, I just wanted to reach out and ask the floss tube community to keep Maine and our fellow floss tubers, in their thoughts while the state deals with this traumatic event that happened last week. So I'm sorry, I have a cold, guys. Like I said, I was on vacation last week and it was warm up in Rangeley, but it was rainy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Sunday I went out to lunch and I didn't have a jacket on, but going from the car to the restaurant, I got wet. No big deal. Like I said, it wasn't cold out, but in the restaurant, I sat directly, my seat was directly underneath the air conditioner, and that thing was blowing down on me. And sure enough, by Wednesday, I had a nasty, nasty head cold. I'm just starting to get over it, but I spent Thursday afternoon, all day Friday in bed. I was supposed to come back today, as a matter of fact, and I just came back yesterday. I'm like, why am I going to spend money to stay another night when I'm just going to be laying in bed? So I came back yesterday, picked the dogs up from the kennel, and I was in bed by 3:30. I think my fever broke around 11 o'clock last night, so I do feel better, but I'm just hoping I can make it through this video without having a coughing fit or having to blow my nose or something. So, okay. So, Sampler September did not turn out as planned. If you recall from my September 1st video, I had a plan to work on 10 samplers during Sampler September. And I was going to start one every 3 days. And so that way I would get 3 days of working time on each sampler. Well, that lasted for the first 3 samplers. And then the September 15th tax deadline got in the way, and that ran into the October 15th tax deadline. My son's wedding was on October 14th. So needless to say, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I was going to show you the little starts that I got on these 3 samplers, but it's not even worth it. And believe me, I am always, any progress is good progress, any start is a good start. No, these are pitiful, and I'm not even going to waste your time showing them to you. So, but it gives me motivation now because I was looking through them, and it does give me motivation to pull them out and actually put needle to fabric and start working on them. I did take cross stitch work with me on vacation. Did I touch it? Nope. I did a little genealogy, which is my other side passion, which is something else, again, that I don't have time to do very often. So I was able to go over to a historical society up in Rumford and dig through some obituaries for my genealogy records. And then I brought a crochet pattern that I will show you the start on that. That's going to be something that I'm going to do for my new daughter-in-law for Christmas. So, and for October, I really had a couple of patterns I wanted to start for October. One of them is The Witch Next Door. I've had that kitted for a year. I absolutely love that pattern, and I really wanted to start it. Didn't happen. I also wanted to do a stitch along with Cornhusker State Stitchers on Uninvited Guest, which is a huge, huge Heaven and Earth Designs pattern. Didn't work on that. So October's behind us now, folks. So I guess I'll just get out November stuff. I do have a Thanksgiving pattern that I started back in the spring. So I'll pull that out and be working on that, and then whatever else suits my fancy. Like I said, I do want to pull out some of these samplers that I didn't get to work on in September. So that's about it for stitching. And I'm sorry that I don't have more to share. Um, but I do have an FFO for quilting, which I will show you. You may recall that I was working on a wall hanging quilt for my son and daughter-in-law. They bought a house in July, and I was working on a quilt for as a housewarming gift for them. And it's my first finished quilting project, and I am so happy with how it came out. And I will insert the picture right here. Now, I started this when I went away to a quilting retreat in June. Now, this quilting retreat, the first time I went was 3 years ago. And funny story, my first retreat had no clue what to do, what to bring. I brought my sewing machine, which hadn't been used in years. And I get up there and I am just so unprepared. I didn't bring anything with me. Thank God the person putting on the retreat actually had a room full of patterns and material and whatever. So I went in and I got a pattern book and I got some fabric and I decided I was going to make a table runner for my son for his other house that he had just moved into 3 years ago. And this table runner had so many. It was all 2.5 and 1.5 inch squares. And I think I spent the whole retreat just cutting out squares because I got up there late. The retreat started on Thursday. I got up there late. I didn't get up there till Friday night. So I had Friday night and then Saturday, and we left on Sunday. So that was my first quilting retreat experience. And everything just stayed inside my sewing bag. The following year, when I went up, I just pulled everything out of the sewing bag because that's where it all stayed. It was still there. And I got it out and I was able to start sewing together the strips. But again, that's all I did. Didn't get too far. So that was the end of year 2 quilting retreat. So this year, I said, there's no way I am bringing that same table runner back and be working on it again. So I found this pattern online. I downloaded it, got the fabric. I actually brought a couple of different projects with me. Had all the squares cut out. Thank God. This thing had 224 squares. Some were 4.5 and some were 5.5 inch. And I had everything prepped ahead of time so that when I got up there, the longest thing that took me to do was to lay out the pattern because I didn't want any two squares touching to be the same material. But I was so pleased. I got it all sewn. I even got the batting sewn, and I just did stitch in a ditch vertical down the rows. And I had that set up on a table here, and I just had to do the binding. And it came out so nice, so nice. My daughter wants me to make one for her, and it's like, you don't even live in New Hampshire anymore. She says, yeah, but it's my home state. I still want one. The back of the pattern, I loved the material that I found for it. My friend and I actually stopped at a quilt shop on the way up to the retreat, and it was this green camping material. Like it had little tents and pine trees and bears and deer. So cute. And it was perfect. It was perfect for the quilt. And on my way back from the retreat, I stopped at that same shop and they had just enough left to do the backing for another quilt. So I lucked out there. So that is my FFO, even though it's not a cross stitch project, it is a quilting project, so I'll take it, especially since it's my first one and I'm so pleased. Okay, so for the new project that I did start while I was on vacation. It is actually a crochet project. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I love to knit and crochet, but it's not something I do year round. But once the weather starts getting cooler, oh, I got to get out my knitting and crocheting. You know, I don't know. It's just a mindset, I guess. But anyway, um, so I saw this pattern online. It's by Bonnie Barker. She has her own YouTube channel about crocheting, and she is fabulous. She's fabulous. And I believe she must live in Ireland because all her patterns are Irish. And so anyway, this I saw this, and my daughter-in-law is Irish. I'll tell you about the wedding in a little bit when we get into life updates. But anyway, so here is the pattern. It's called the Inishman Poncho. And I just love it. I just love that big cable stitch and the collar, and I just can't wait. The weave, the Celtic weave that's in there. So this will be very fun. And this is the yarn. I love this yarn. It's let me pull one out here. It's Baracco Vintage. You can see that. And it is so soft. It is so soft. I think it's a 4.5 listed, no, three and a half listed weight. Made in Peru. But it is fabulous. It's really, really soft. So, and it takes 10 of these hanks. So, but okay, so here is the start I've gotten on this. Now this is 122 cast on stitches. And here is the cast on. But you do this single crochet into the front and to the back of your first row, which creates, and I don't know if you can see it, it creates like this shelf. See, this is it sideways, and this is the top, and you can see this wide flat area on top. I know my camera probably isn't picking this up, especially since it's white. Oh, maybe that way you can see it. But this is the you can see on the pattern, see how these rows are kind of raised? That and right there. So this is the shelf that leads into that. It just gives that raised edge to the pattern, which I think is going to look very cool. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait to continue on with it. Okay. So other than that, I've not been working on anything. And I just noticed that this video is kind of grainy, guys. I'm sorry, there's not much light coming into the slider. It's one of those doom and gloom days where it's been raining off and on, but again, it's not too cold. It was 80 here yesterday, and today I think it's in the 60s, but it's nice, and maybe that's because I'm still a little hot and feverish from my cold. But all right, so I am going to move on to haul. Now, this is what amazes me, okay? I don't have time to stitch or knit or do anything else, but I always have time to shop. And I've come to the conclusion that it's one of two things. Either because during my tax deadlines, believe me, I'm delirious. I'm pulling all-nighters. My sleeping hours are crazy. My work hours are crazy. Um, and I swear to God that I'm just sleepwalking and ordering this stuff online in the middle of the night, not even realizing it. So it's either that or my dogs have figured out how to use a computer and they've been ordering this stuff for me. Because I swear to God, it shows up in the mail and I do not remember ordering it. So, not that I'm complaining. Everybody likes getting a package in the mail, right? So, let's see. The first thing I got was one of these magnetic pin caddies. I'm sure you've seen them before where they're plastic and you can take the cover off and then the pins can just stick to that. You know, this magnetic surface underneath here. But I thought that was good because my pins are usually all over the place when I sew. And this haul is a mixture of both sewing and cross stitch, guys. So I'm just pulling from the bag. Whatever comes out, comes out. Okay, so we got, oh, look at this. See, it's been in this bag for so long, I forgot what it was. 25 count Stormy Night Lugana. Oh, I probably ordered this for one of my Halloween projects that never got started, right? So, look at that. I love Stormy Night. It's one of my favorite fabrics, Lugana, or I should say favorite patterns. Stormy Night is just so cool. And I got that from Heartland Quilting. They have an Etsy shop. Next, oh, I got a little 7x7 design board. Okay, now I got this. Okay, Honeybee Quaker Primrose Cottage Stitchers. I got this to do as a swap for a retreat I'm going to in April up in Maine, and everybody's into the bees now. And Primrose Cottage, their patterns are so easy to follow. I'll just do a quick blump, blump. You know, it's like just a little leaflet. And so I figured that this would be cute to sew up for my swap. I did have something else that was in one of my other smalls that I had shown in a previous video, but I think that everybody now is into the bees and I can add other accessories to this. That'll make it a really cute gift idea. So I got that and I got, this is Pedal Pusher Fresh Picked Lavender. And I love lavender. My upstairs bathroom is decorated with lavender stuff. So I got that. I figured I could stitch that for my upstairs bathroom someday. Then this was, oh, I've wanted to get this for a long, long time. Bobby G Designs, America. Terry from Cornhusker State Stitchers has done this. She finished it. I don't think she did this vine border though, but I just, ever since I've seen hers, I've just wanted to do this. You know, we're a patriotic family. My daughter is in the Air Force going on 13 years. My son was in for 6 years and just got out, and he just finished with the police academy, and now he's a police officer for the Northwood Police Department. Um, my father was in the Air Force. My uncles were in the Navy. My cousins are in the Marines. So we're a big patriotic family. So I can't wait to stitch that up. I'll have to do one for everybody. I just love that pattern. And then we have a 32 count vintage Stormy Night Lugana. I won't take this out of the bag. It's the same as the other one. The other one was a 25 count. And then we have, oh, I love this. I'm going to do this up for someone. It's called The Mill House by Kathy Barrick. And it's just so sweet. I love mill houses. I have an ancestor in my family tree, John Goff. He had the John Goff Mill in Bedford, New Hampshire, and it's still there, as a matter of fact. And a lot of things in Bedford are named after him. I, I love mills. Oops. Hold on. Okay, next, here's some more fabric. Oh, I saw this on Heartland Quilting, their site. They had been out of this for a while and they got it back. It's 32 count. It's called Anthracite. And it's like a grayish, maybe a grayish greenish. I don't know if you can see the true color there, but I love this color. And I was thinking about putting one of my Halloween projects on this, but I guess that'll be next year. Okay, and then we have my monthly Color and Cotton Floss Club. So this was September. And these are some cool colors. A true fall palette. We have Murky, Goblin, Masquerade, Hallows Eve, and Ouija. Ouija. Aren't those cool colors? So those can be perfect for fall or Halloween, obviously. Those over there. And then we got, this isn't even open, folks. How horrible. Like, yep, just get something in the mail, throw it in the haul bag to show, and it's not even open. Okay, so what do we got? We have, oh, our Shades of Autumn, September 2023, Holiday Fat Quarter Club. Ooh. Those are some cool colors. Here's the whole palette. Sorry for the glare. Those are some nice colors. Okay, back to cross stitch. Okay, so I saw these on eBay. I guess I am just setting myself up for torture with these heaven and earth designs, especially this one. This one's going to be beautiful, but oh my gosh, how long will it take me to finish this? 440 by 440. That's quite large. But look at how beautiful this is. French filigree, heaven and earth. Yep. Then I got this one, the Nativity. Yep. There was another one that I had ordered, but she had sold it and hadn't taken it off her website, which is probably a good thing because it was a Halloween one. But again, not that I need it, right? So now we have, this is from Heartland Quilting, and this is Give Thanks quilt. Maybe I'll actually start this since we're going into Thanksgiving, November. Fully kitted, has the backing and everything in there with all the fabrics. So that actually looks pretty cool. See, I've had these things in this bag for 2 months now, and I forget what's in here. Oh, here's the backing. All right, so here's the backing that goes to that. That's pretty cool. Looks like a nice batik. Okay, so then I treated myself to a new set of the Addy Click knitting needles. Okay, so these are all the size needles, and the cables are stored in the back, so on the round cables, and the ends just screw in. So you always have the right size cables, and you can interchange out the size of the needles. So I had never seen this before, and I saw this on Antique Needleworkers. Because I love watching their work. They do everything. They do everything on that channel. Sherry's just a genius. I mean, she can do anything. She has sheep. She weaves her own wool, dyes it, whole 9 yards. And I also can't get knitting needles without getting crochet needles, right? So I got a whole new set of crochet needles because I really didn't have a lot of the larger sizes. So this was a set that came in and came with the little markers, stitch markers, and needles. I also got a set of the crochet hooks that have the lighted tips, which I have never used before. So I thought that would be kind of cool since I do have a pair of those glasses that have the lights on them, the LED lights, so that when I'm working in, at nighttime and I don't have that great a lighting, I put those on and they help immensely. And it doesn't matter if I'm doing needlework or knitting or crocheting, whatever it is. Okay, then we got, oh yes, I ordered this. This is the Delft sampler. By, Corey Batacore. I might start this. I got different colored blues. I think it calls for 3 different colored blues. And I'm going to be doing this on 36 count Regency linen by Picture This Plus. It's a very very light tan with a little bit of modeling in there. So that's definitely on my radar to start. And what else do we have? We have Block 4, Designer Mystery Block of the Month from Fat Quarter Shop. I love the fabric that are in these blocks. Have I started any of them? No. No! I just need to get on the ball. Like I said, usually November and December I have downtime from work. Although November, my daughter's going to be switching bases again. She finds out, I think, the middle of November where her new base assignment's going to be. And it is a quick turnaround. Like she only has a week to report there. And my son-in-law right now is stationed in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So he's not even there to help her. So the military is going to have to pack up the house. She's just going to have to grab the dogs and whatever stuff they are taking with them in her car and my granddaughter, and off they go. And I'm probably just going to have to meet her. She's not even going to have time to find housing. You know, in situations like this, you just hope that the base has on-base housing, but that's not always the case. There could be a waiting list. So, it's going to be immediately looking for housing for her, getting Allie registered in school. So I'm probably going to have to take off and meet up with her at some point, whichever. She thinks it's either going to be Texas or Florida. So we'll see. Okay, then I got some of these smaller zipper bags. These are, what size are these? It says 24 by 7, but no, these are not 24-inch by 7. Maybe centimeters. I don't know what that converts to, but anyway, they're the smaller mesh zipper bags. And I get the larger mesh bags to use as project bags, and I get the smaller ones to keep my notions in, like my scissors and ruler. Excuse me. Needle minder, my floss, that type of stuff. Oh, I told you guys I would try to make it through. If that's the only cough I'm going to have, then that's great. All right, I think that's it. Thank God. I have a lot more haul, but I figured that some of it came in October, and I'll just show it the next video, which hopefully will be within the next week or two. So, life updates. I made it through tax season, and my son's wedding was absolutely fabulous. all week long they had been calling for rain on that Saturday, and Saturday came and it was gorgeous. It was in the 70s. Um, it couldn't have been better. It couldn't have been better. I'll insert some pictures for the wedding here. But just that whole week, I felt that I couldn't even enjoy the process of leading up to the wedding because I was just so stressed out with work. Um, I still have clients who haven't gotten me their tax stuff, and the tax filing deadline is already passed. So next year, things are going to be different. I say that every year, but they really are. I can't be dealing with people who are not responsible enough to get their tax stuff to me on time. But anyway, so the the one other thing with the wedding that added to everything else that was going on during that time. I mentioned to you that my daughter-in-law is Irish. So the two songs that she wanted played at the wedding for the bridesmaids to walk down the aisle to, and then for she and her father to walk down the aisle to. They're Irish songs. Um, the first song I was able to find online, no problem. I was in charge of the music and the whole church stuff because it was being the wedding was being held at our church here in Durham, New Hampshire, and so and the two musicians that were going to be playing, the piano player and the guitar player, they're family friends. So I coordinated everything with them, and so we were able to find the music to the first song that she wanted. The second song, I could not find that music anywhere. I could not find it online. I could not find it on OneNote. I could not find it on, music publishing websites. The only thing that I had was a YouTube video that she had sent to me of the song being played. And people at church, like one of the guitar players at church, his son actually lives in Ireland and plays at a lot of Irish weddings. He had never heard of the song. I reached out to the Catholic diocese in Ireland asking if they had heard of this song and if they had the music. Nope, they had never heard of it. I finally reached out. The name of the group that recorded the YouTube video for this song was called the Celtic Players. And I reached out to them asking them if they had the music to this song. I figured, okay, they recorded it, they must have it. As it turns out, it was written by one of their members for his niece's wedding, and he had never published the music. And they played it, on their YouTube channel, but they had never published the music and, he had never distributed it. So it's like, okay, can I get a copy of the music? No. So basically, what I ended up doing is taking my phone with that recording, that YouTube recording of that song. I got music, staff paper, and I sat at my piano for 14 hours playing the song, sounding out the notes on my piano, writing the notes in on the staff paper. I did that. Then I downloaded a music software program that I could actually play the notes on my keyboard and it would put them in. But I had to put in like the time signatures and the rest signatures and, all the accents and, everything that goes with a music score. So once I had that done, once I had the melody all played out, all sounded out, written down, then I went back to the piano and I just figured out the left hand accompaniment and wrote it down, added the notes, blah, 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 done. Took me 14 hours to do that. Then 2 days later, I sat down and figured out the guitar part. And when I sent it to the guitar player, he wasn't too thrilled with it. He's like, no, I think I can do better, which is fine. I'm not a guitar player, so I'm a piano player. So whatever he wanted to change with the guitar part was fine. So I ended up going to his house, bringing a keyboard with me, and we sat there all afternoon one Sunday afternoon and just put together the rest of this song to finalize it. Um, he put together a beautiful guitar part for both pieces, and the music was absolutely beautiful. Um, but they have no idea, and I didn't tell them, they have no idea what we went through to get this song to be able to play it for her bridesmaids to walk down the aisle to. But in the end, it was worth it. You know, you do whatever you can. You don't say no to the bride. You make it work, right? Tim Gunn, make it work. So it was a beautiful wedding, a beautiful day. Everybody had such a great time. And poor John, the guitar player, was sick as a dog. And he struggled through. He couldn't make it to the reception, but oh my gosh, my hat's off to him. And they went to Ireland for their honeymoon, gone for 2 weeks. So I have their dog. She was with me for a week, and then she went with my dogs to the kennel last week while I went on vacation. And I'll be bringing her back home to them tonight. So my dogs always like it when she's here visiting. So that's life updates. You know, my daughter and her family were able to be here. She was a bridesmaid, Josh was a groomsman, Allie was the flower girl. So all good. It was nice having everybody together, even if it was only for a short time. And then my daughter's wedding will be whenever. She wants it next year, and I just told her, no, I can't go through this 2 years in a row. 2 fall weddings. Can't do it. Especially since she doesn't live here in New Hampshire and she wants it here in New Hampshire. Like, really, Kate? Who's going to be doing all the legwork for this? You know? But we'll see. We'll see what she comes up with. Um, but that's it. Thanks for sticking around and muddling through this with me. If you're still here, I'm sorry I really didn't have a lot of cross-stitching content for you today. But I know that that's how it is sometimes. That's how it is sometimes. So next time, hopefully I will have a lot more to show you. Well, I will have stuff to show you. I didn't show you anything this time. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. And I guess we'll see you next week or the week after. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.